Good morning and good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Drew Parsons. I'm one of the audio solutions specialists here at Avid, based in Melbourne, Australia. Thank you so much for joining our presentation. So we've had such an amazing few weeks here at Avid. As many of you are aware, we've just released Sibelius for mobile. It's a brand new iPad app. This is an awesome extension for existing Sibelius for desktop users, educators, or composers on the go. If you haven't yet downloaded the app, please go ahead and download it now. It's a free download from the Apple App Store. Have it in front of you so you can go through it while we're going through this presentation. So before we kind of get started, just a couple of formalities. If you do have any questions, please ask them in the Q&A down in Zoom. And if you are on one of our social channels like Facebook or YouTube, please use the comment section and one of our fantastic staff will get to your question, or hopefully at the end we'll answer your question live. So let's get started. And joining me today is principal designer and developer, Joe Plazak. Joe, how you going, mate?
Hey, what's going on, Drew?
Good, mate. You've had a busy couple of months, haven't you?
Yeah. The team's been firing on all cylinders, and we're super pumped with the response that we've gotten so far. And it's great to see so many people here at the webinar today. So thanks everybody for attending.
Yeah. Oh, look, the response I've seen online has just been fantastic. And yeah, you guys all deserve a big round of applause. You know, tell us a little bit more about the team. Like, how's everyone, been working on this, and what was how's the team grown into, building this app together?
Yeah, so first of all, the Sibelius team has historically been sort of a small and mighty bunch of developer musicians who are passionate about music, who are passionate about software development, and in this amazing product that's been around for nearly 30 years. But recently, Avid has made the investment to start growing this team, to start making this team even more powerful. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg, what you're seeing, what we released last week. We've been working on that project for about a year, and we've got some really cool stuff coming up next. So yeah, the team in general, I think the most important thing to say is that we're a group of musicians. We're a growing group of musicians, and everybody is so excited to finally share this project with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess a lot of people really want to know, like, when designing this app, what were the intentions? Like, when you were kind of like sketching this out, what were the, important things that you wanted to see in this app when you were kind of working it out as a team?
Yeah, so I mean, that's like the conundrum that I think any developer slash designer faces is when you want to start building something new, what's the first thing that you do? And so for us, we took sort of a novel approach and we said, we're just going to start with the score. Everything is about the score. So no user interface whatsoever. Bring the score onto the screen. Let's figure out a whole bunch of new ways for people to interact as if they were working with a piece of paper right in front of them. And then as we sort of progressed along and hit some limitations in terms of what we could only do on the score, then we said, all right, let's add a button for that, or let's try adding, this new gallery in here. So the thing that to answer your question, Drew, is like, it was all about the score from day one. And when you look at the app, it's so clear. I mean, what you're looking at here is nothing but score. I mean, that's what matters. That's why people use our software. They want to create beautiful, professional looking scores. And that's what this application is all about.
Yeah, and I definitely noticed that too. If I'll just flip over to the iPad app as well, hopefully you can see that. It looks like Sibelius straight away for me. I can kind of get in there and I can just see my whole score and just kind of move around. And the UI just looks fantastic. You guys have done a great job there.
Hey, thanks, Drew.
Yeah, and kind of more on the UI, like we're just kind of looking at the top here. It's very clean, and just to kind of start playing it, I can just without selecting anything, I can just hit play, and hopefully you can hear that. It sounds great. And I'll just stop the playback there. And that's like a subset of the Sibelius sound set that's in Sibelius for desktop, isn't it? This is like a mobile edition that we've implemented into this, haven't isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the size of the download, when you download the app from the App Store, it's 1.2 gig, and the bulk of that is taken up by the sound library. And Sam Butler did an amazing job taking our huge Sibelius sounds library and paring it down to what we thought were sort of the essential things to have in a mobile device. Now, I think that's like something that maybe we haven't expressed enough, is that when you're working with this application, it really is sort of like you've got an entire orchestra, in your device. You carry around an orchestra in your hand now. And so if you're just getting started with music notation, if you're just curious about what's there, maybe you're not quite sure about the differences between the instruments, just pop them into your score, get a feel for how things blend, how things mix. This is like an amazing tool for just discovering the world of music, especially, as I said, if you're just getting started.
Yeah, like I think for people that are working in education or something like that, getting a score over to a student so they can actually be, maybe practicing an instrument. Like here at the moment in the iPad app, I've got this in review mode, so all we can actually do is just play back the score or, potentially print it out. So it's a very, great tool for people that are wanting to learn an instrument, even let alone even start putting notes on a page, which I think is a great, additive to this score. Moving on with the UI, like, let's take this out of review mode. And obviously we've got a couple of functions across the top here. Do you kind of want to elaborate the kind of, on the whole idea of this really clean top of the UI here?
Sorry, Drew, I was muted there. The focus
All
here
good.
is on the score and the things that you need, So as we were designing and developing and testing this application, the question came up all the time is what needs to be a one-touch operation? And those are the things that you do a lot. And so that's the way that this interface is optimized. So playback, one-touch operation. We expect composers and anyone who's using the app to be using that button a lot. Same thing with the undo button. There's nothing more frustrating than sort of, having the software not do what you want on the first try and then not knowing how to undo it. So undo is really prominent there. And then as you move across to the other side of the screen, this is where we've sort of packed all the power and all the functionality of Sibelius into just two drop-down menus. So you've got the plus, which we call the create menu. So nod back to our Sibelius 6 create menu. This is where you find all your galleries. So you find your clefs, your key signatures, your time signatures, bar lines. And the way to use this gallery is to first make a selection in your score and then come to this gallery, and whatever you want to go in that selection, you select it from this drop-down. And then, Drew, you just tapped into the command search there. So this is the new feature that we added in the February release of the desktop Sibelius. And at the time, we knew that we had been working on this project, and we knew there had to be a way to bring in all the functionality of Sibelius in one location. And in desktop Sibelius, we've had this feature forever called the Find in Ribbon tab, which was limited to just the things that are in our ribbon interface. And we knew that we had to open that up in order to get things into our mobile app. So sort of on the sly, as we were developing the application at the same time, we added the command search into desktop Sibelius. But what's cool about this is all you need to do is think about what you want to add to your score. You just sort of type it into the command search, and then it pops up. So it's all there, and in time, there's a lot of really cool things that we'll be able to do in this particular portion of the application. I mean, this is a brand new feature. Again, it's just 6 months old, and we're just getting started with it. I'll just finish the sweep since I'm almost there. Then we've got the More menu. So the More menu is available whether the score is locked or unlocked. And this has got sort of the core features that you're going to need to get to that maybe don't pertain to editing the score itself. So things that are sort of about the score as opposed to within the score. And so this is where you can log into the application. I want to say something about logging into the application here, though. A user on Facebook had asked me the other day where they could find the place to sign in. And I thought, oh, wow, so it's at the end of the getting started videos, Drew, that you put together, but it's also here in the More menu. But the cool thing about the application is it's designed to run, and you'll find the login menu if you need it. So there's so much functionality in the free version of this software that, I'd say for new users, just jump in and start using it. Don't worry about logging in, whether you're an existing user or a new user. When you hit a feature that isn't in your tier, the software will tell you, and it will ask you to sign in. But if you really need it, if you want to make sure that your login credentials are working, you can find it there in the More menu. The More menu is also where we've got your awesome videos. Drew, can you go ahead and pull those up real quick?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, if we just go up to the More menu here and we hit Getting Started, you can see these awesome little how-to videos here. And yep, there's my hand. and we can go through and just kind of gives you like a really easy kind of like get through of like, okay, this is how I use the Apple Pencil, or if I want to use my keyboard and mouse, which also I think really great idea for the design. If you're an existing Sibelius user and you already know all of your shortcuts, just adding a keyboard to the iPad app, you can just, get started straight away with all of those keyboards that you're so aware of using. So that was a really, really good idea.
Hey, thanks. The videos are totally dynamite. I think it's normal for users when they're signing into a new application, they're excited to use it. They want to see what it looks like. They sort of skip out of that, first tutorial that's presented to them. So I think it's important for everybody to know that they can re-access it through the More menu. But the thing that I want to say in general is when we were introducing this application to our beta users, we would roughly take an hour to 90 minutes to sort of walk them through every single thing that the program could do. But Drew's videos condense that down into about 2 minutes. So if you've got 2 minutes to spare and you can watch those videos, you'll be well on your way to making music in the new mobile app.
Yeah, and for people that want to know where those videos are, I'm sure one of our friendly staff members can put a link to YouTube potentially in the comments section, and people can jump on those and get started straight away.
Yeah,
So
right
should
on.
we start? Should we start just kind of looking through the app as it is, like while it's in review mode, just kind of, playing the score and how to kind of navigate around the score there? Like, I think the great thing for me is that I've, been using touchscreens and iPads for a long time now. You kind of naturally just, can dive in and kind of know what you're doing. You're using your finger left and right to kind of move the score, move the score around. If I want to zoom in, obviously I've got that pinch and stretch motion there. But, playing the score itself, let's just tap anywhere outside of the score and nothing's selected. If we hit play, it's going to play from the start of the score. If we say select an object, so let's select this object here, it will actually then start playing from that part of the score. And likewise in Sibelius for desktop, if you, just say select, one instrument. So if I just triple tap here, it's only going to play that instrument and everything else is muted. So really, really easy way of kind of playing parts of your score.
Yeah, and Drew, there's one more thing I just want to throw out there. So first of all, anyone can download this app for free, and it can open any Sibelius file of any size for free. So if somebody sends you a giant orchestral score and you're on the free version, you won't be able to edit that score, but your score will look just like it does right now in review mode. So you'll be able to play it. You'll be able to make filtered selections like the one that Drew just did, and play back certain staves of that particular score. Now, where this is cool is say that you were actually going to play this piece. You were playing in a trio with two other musicians, and you were going to play the violin part. So if you just wanted to hear your part in isolation, you could do what Drew just did, which is triple tap on the violin and hit play. And then, so this will start back from the beginning, but that's fine. So that's one way to just hear your part, but there's also a way to do the reverse, which is very cool for being able to rehearse, which is I want to hear everything but my part, so I want to play my part. And so you can also make filtered selections that way. Drew, you want to go ahead and select the staves on the score, everything but the violin?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I select, if I just press and hold that bar, and then I can then press and hold a little bit longer on the piano part, it's going to be selecting just those, and then I hit play, and that should play everything except for the violin at the top of the score.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
I want to show you a quick shortcut too for another way that you could do that faster. So if you just clear your selection, do a 2-finger tap on say that first bar.
Okay, right here, 2-finger tap.
Two-finger double tap. Cool. So what you've done now, that's perfect. Yeah, you've made a system selection. So the 2-finger tap will get you sort of the equivalent of what command clicking will do in desktop Sibelius. Now that you've got everything selected, you can still do your long press on the violin, and that will remove the violin stave from your selection. So that's sort of, you've got two ways of doing it. I mean, one way is sort of the additive way, like you just did, you long press all the things that you want to hear. But if you know that you just want to remove, say, like you're the soprano and you want to take your part out of playback, you can do a two-finger double tap and then just long press your part and remove it. And so you might save yourself some time that way.
Perfect. Hey, let's work smarter, not harder, right?
Amen. Yeah, totally.
Excellent. All right, cool. So we've got this in review mode. Let's take it out of review mode and let's kind of see all the extra things we've got. So if I've got this little padlock at the top right of my
So sorry to interrupt. So sorry, but there's one more thing that I've got to
Oh
mention.
yeah, go for it.
We've got some people here. In general, there's one problem that we found that our users have been having with playback, and I just want to quickly address it right here. So Sibelius, the mobile app, respects your silent mode settings. So if you have your device on silent mode, Sibelius, when you go to hit play, it will seem like playback is not working. But yeah, Drew, you've got it. I think you've got it. Do you have it as a drop down there or no? Do you have it in your?
Yeah, I've got I've got the output there, but you're right. Yeah, if you
So
kind of
if you
have the
go to
volume down.
I'm gonna have you drop back in that bell down at the lower corner. So go back to those icons. You've got your bell above your Apple TV
Yep.
remote. If that is on, so if you've got silent mode on, playback will not work for you because again, Sibelius respects that. So if you're finding that playback's not working for you, you can do one of two things. You can go in there and you can turn that setting off, or you can plug in some headphones and it will still work through the headphones. So sorry to interrupt your flow there, but it's super important, I think, because a lot of people have been caught off guard by the fact that we respect that setting. I think potentially we'll have to do some clarification in the future so that people know that that's the case.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's probably actually not a bad feature to have because you could be sitting on a plane or a train and doing some notation work, and the person next to you might not be a fan of what you're working on. You might be doing some kind of mariachi music, right? And that might not be their jam.
That wouldn't be the case for you, Drew. I mean, everybody would be a fan of what you're doing.
Oh, too nice, too nice. Okay, so we're going to take this out of review mode, and now you can see, as you were mentioning before, we've added all these new features at the top here. So yes, obviously we've got the this new gallery here for adding all of our clefs and key signatures, time signatures, bar signatures. I can just tap here and get through all of those very, very quickly. And then obviously the command search that you were talking about brings up the keyboard and I can search for what I want. But we've got this new little quaver down here in the bottom right. What do we got here? That's the new keypad. It's very slick, and we've got a couple of new buttons here. Do you kind of want to elaborate on what's happening here on the keypad? What was the design thought behind this?
So touchscreens offer a rich opportunity for us to sort of rethink the way that people put notes into music notation software. So I'm totally happy to drive a demo of this. Drew, you want to go ahead and start with the fresh score? Before we close the score, though, I did want to do a quick shout out to Justin Toki, who engraved this score. It's got some super awesome slurs. Such a fun score. And Justin, it's great to have him joining our team this year and putting out some awesome music engraving for us. So thanks, Justin, for that. Yeah, let's take a look at a new score.
Yeah, we'll just go back to the very start window. And obviously, this is what we're going to see when you start a new score. So we're going to go create new score. And just like Sibelius for desktop, we've got all these amazing templates to start with. So let's just maybe do a solo piano. There we go. And just like, Sibelius for desktop, we've got this really nice, clean looking score to start with. So yeah, let's get into some, adding some notes on a page. One of the things that I like about iPad is that I've got that split screen function. So what I'm going to do is just bring over iBooks here, and I've got some very old handwritten music on the side here. So we can actually start using this to kind of enter notes on the page there. So let me just blow things up a bit so we can kind of see what we're looking at. There we go. So now I've got, a PDF on the left-hand side, and I've got Sibelius on the right-hand side. So I can just be, engraving notes over or, working on something that someone's handwritten for me. And let's get into it. So here's the keypad. And Joe, how would we get started? What would be the the way into this? I know, but let's hear it from the man who put it all together.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to help. So here's the cool thing about the design on the new keypad. So first of all, the keypad is iconically Sibelius. You see the keypad, you know what you're working on. At the same time, like we've got a whole generation of composers and users who have never used a keyboard with a keypad. And so it's both at the same time sort of like a nod to the past, and then we've reimagined how this thing is used, and so it becomes an entirely new element for us. It's sort of like a supercharged keypad now that it's got these really intuitive touch gestures on it. So here's the cool thing about the keypad and putting notes in. So you're looking at your score over there and you're thinking, all right, I've got to put in a 16th note. And Drew has cleverly hidden the fact that we're working in a soprano clef there, but that first note looks to me like it's a C4 middle C. So we're going to put that note into our score. And here's the thing: if you know you want to put in a 16th note of middle C, you don't want to have to sort of translate that to some sort of instrument. You don't want to have to think like, all right, I know I need a 16th note, but what I have to think about is where is that note on a piano or where is that note on a guitar? You just want to touch the 16th note and get into your score as fast as possible. So here's what you do. You just put, first of all, you select in the score where you want it to go. You put your finger on the 16th note, not a guitar fret, not a piano key, and then you start sliding your finger up or down and the ghost note appears. And so the ghost note will let you, if you slide up or down, it will let you set your note diatonically within the score. And if you need a sharp or a flat, then you can just sort of also take that gesture, that one touch gesture, and move it left or right, and that will add a sharp or a flat to your score.
Yeah, so it's very easy for me to do that. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of enter in a couple of notes really quickly. And you're right, I just kind of just tap on the keypad here. I can just go up and down and it's just adding that note. And yeah, if I slide my finger a little bit to the right, I've got that sharp. And a little bit to the left, I can add a flat there and then just keep going and just kind of keep adding notes there. So yeah, this is very, very easy to kind of get notes on the page really, really quickly. So this is great.
The cool thing about it is that you don't have to translate into some sort of other representation of music. So imagine you're a trumpet player. Like, you don't want to have to think at the keyboard if you think in trumpet. And so what's cool about the keypad is it lets you think in music. You need this thing, you touch it, it goes in your score, you slide up and down, left and right to place it, and you let go and it's in your score. This is an awesome way of adding melodies in to work melodically. Now, at the same time, it's touchscreen, it's super sensitive. So sometimes you might make mistakes. And so, Drew, let's talk about the two new features that are there on the keypad. So the first one is this pitch correction tool.
Yeah, it's just on the right here, just on the next to my flat symbol, I've got this pitch correction tool. So if I press and hold that, I can then move that note around to the obviously to the right pitch that it's meant to be on, and I can obviously add my sharps and flats as well. So if you do make a mistake, like say I put it on the wrong thing here, just tap the note, and then I can just move up and put it in the correct position, and then we can then keep working on the rest of this piece.
Yeah, two things I want to say about this. The first is that, as you just showed, the pitch correction tool actually lets you access double flats and double sharps. So if you're just putting notes in and you're using the touch gestures, we limit the accidentals that you can put in when you're putting in actual notes to just a flat or a sharp. And again, it's because the touch screen is super sensitive, and we want to make sure that we have the most common things that users are going to do be the things that they can do there. But the pitch correction tool, if you do need a double sharp or a double flat, you can either get it by accessing it through that page on the keypad, or you can use the pitch correction tool. The second thing I want to say about the pitch correction tool, and this is like totally important for our design philosophy here, is if you make a mistake with the new touch input, how many steps should it take to finish it, to correct that? And so what we were finding before we had this tool is that if you made a mistake, you would hit undo, and then you would do that gesture again and try to get that note right. And there are some things in Sibelius where having two operations is too much, and fixing a mistake is one of them. And that's why we wanted to give users the pitch correction tool, so that with one touch, you sort of reactivate that last thing that you did, and it lets you sort of correct that note that you want with one touch. And I think that's going to be a huge time saver for our users, especially as they learn the software.
I when I first started using this app, I kind of just gravitated towards that keypad and just to be able to get notes on the page as quickly as possible. And below that pitch correction tool, we've obviously got this new button here, which is for adding chords. Is that right?
Yeah,
if
that's
I just
right.
say add a, I'll just add a C note here, and then I can play a third above. And then if you press and hold, right, you can then move that around to the actual note that you want to be. So if you want to play a seventh or an octave, you can kind of just add that just like that. It's really easy.
I'm loving this Bach C major seventh there. That's so cool. I think
Yeah,
Bach
kind of.
he'd be careful with that dissonance,
I know,
but I
I'm
love
sure
it.
there's people on the chat now that have been going, "What are you doing, Drew? Back off!" But hey, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of fusion. That's what I'm doing.
Awesome. So this chord tool, though, I mean, it brings up the point that like so in desktop Sibelius, how do you get chords in? And there are keyboard shortcuts for that. So you sort of hit the number key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it adds a generic note of that interval above what you've just done, which is fine. But we don't have the keyboard, and we don't make the assumption that users are going to want to use a keyboard with their on the iPad. And so we've given them a completely new way to work in vertical sonorities. And so rather than giving them sort of a discrete button to add a third and a discrete button to add another interval, this is like an all-purpose tool for adding any interval above or below your note, and you can just sort of repeatedly use it. So yes, I think the most common case is to add generic thirds above a note. That's why when you tap that chord tool button, that's what you get. But at the same time, it's like all the other note input buttons. It's that same cool gesture. You press and hold, you slide up and down to set that note diatonically, left and right to set the chromatic inflection, and when it's where you want, you let go and you're off.
So awesome. Another way of kind of adding notes on the page is using the Apple Pencil, and you guys have done some really really cool design workflows with the Apple Pencil. Like, what was the whole idea behind that? Like, to kind of add the Apple Pencil support to the app.
So the team set out with a super ambitious goal for the Apple Pencil, and this was the goal. The goal was that we would let users add any note anywhere on the score without touching a single button on the user interface. Because when you work with a pencil and a piece of paper in real life, you don't have to go and find buttons to touch. You just put the tool down on the paper and you start working. And that's what we wanted in the mobile app of Sibelius too. So Drew, go ahead and close the keypad. Let's just sort of see that design in action.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to put your pencil anywhere on the score and do a bit of a hard press. And when you do that, Sibelius will go into note input mode. Then you've got your ghost note under the pencil tip. You can move it anywhere in your score, anywhere you want. And this is awesome if you want to work vertically across staves. Say you're writing out some sonorities for like a SATB choir or something like that. So you can move anywhere you want. Like you could even slide that up over the top of the 16th notes you have running up there, and Sibelius would know what to do with this. But let's just go ahead and come down here. Maybe you don't want a half note, and what you really wanted was a quarter note, but you don't want to have to go push a button for that. I mean, like in real life, you would just draw a quarter note. So what we've done is we've added these really intuitive tilt gestures. So just do a little bit of a hard press, and then you can, exactly, do a horizontal tilt on the stylus. And then here's the key thing here. Let go of the pressure. Don't take the tip off the screen, but just let go of the pressure. And you can, again, relaxingly sort of move that note anywhere you want. Now, if you want to add a sharp or a flat, then that's the same thing. It's just a hard press and a tilt in the vertical direction, up or down. And again, we find that that's super natural. Like if the note isn't what you want, what do users sort of instinctively do? They put a little bit more pressure on it. Drew, you ever do that? Like where you're mad at your computer and you sort of start typing the keys, with more force?
Oh, every day.
Yeah. So that's what's sort of the idea behind this gesture is like, if you're just being real light and tapping in notes, it gives you what you would expect. But if you need something more from it, you need a different rhythm, you need a different chromatic inflection, you just do a little bit of a hard press and a tilt gesture, and that will work for you. The cool thing about the hard press is that it calibrates itself. So the second you begin a hard press, that's the initial angle Sibelius will use in order to determine like the movement from there. So if you're left-handed and your pencil tilt lives, in your other hand, as soon as you do a hard press, that's sort of like ground zero. And then from there you can tilt. So it self-calibrates to you as you work with the software.
Yeah. No, it's very, very cool. And there's a couple of different ways to obviously use the pencil too, because obviously when I started using this, and I've never used Apple Pencil up until using to this app. So this was actually been a really fun experience for me. That, you can even use it as a stylus as well. So if you just kind of want to navigate around your score, you can obviously use the pencil like that. It's almost like there's two modes to it in that sense. Like you've got the mode of getting notes on the page, and then there's, moving around, bringing all the drop down motions down. Everything I can do with the Apple Pencil instead of kind of using my hand all the time. So it's Was there that kind of the whole idea with it, having those multiple modes, like the stylus mode and then the writing mode? Was that the idea there?
That's a hot question, Drew. So I'm going to jump into it and say that Sibelius is proud to be modeless. You can sort of do anything at any time. You don't have to sort of like say, dear software, please only let me do engraving. Dear software, please let me just put in notes. So there are two modes underneath. So, I mean, the pencil does sort of function in note input mode or sort of edit mode, as we call it. But here's the thing, like, how do you get into note input mode? Well, I just showed you. So you can go ahead and do a hard press on the pencil. Boom, you're in it. All right, now let go. Let go. So you're still in note input mode. If you want to get out of it, just do a tap with your finger, not with the pencil, and you're out. So that's the extent of mode shifting that you're ever going to have to do in this app. Literally do a hard press on the pencil. You can enter notes. If you don't want to be able to enter notes, you want to go back and edit something that you did, just tap with your finger. And that's like totally crucial for understanding the Apple Pencil user experience. So anytime, say you make a mistake with the Apple Pencil and you want to fix something, your first intuition should be to tap with your finger. And that will, again, take you into edit mode. And then you can sort of do whatever you need. So
Yeah.
there's sort of like a secret chord mode built in here. And I want to just quickly speak to that. So say you wanted to build a chord on one of those quarter notes, or even better yet, let's do one of the 16th notes.
Okay.
So go ahead and just select one of the 16th notes, any one, be real light with it. And go ahead and you can even show us, like drag it up and down, you know, like in a continuous motion with the pencil, drag up, down, up, down. Set it where you want it. Now, when you're ready to enter a chord there, so go ahead and keep your pencil on it. Just go ahead and drag it up and down again, Drew. When you're ready to enter a chord, then do the hard press. And so now you've got a ghost note and you can drag up, and now you're sort of ready to build the chord right on top of that. As soon as you let go, it will just add that note as a chord. And so what's happening under the hood here is Sibelius recognizes the selection you've made, it matches it, and then if you go into note input mode, it's ready to input a note with that selection's parameters. And so, for example, now if you tap out, you go into edit mode, do the same thing on the eighth notes that are coming next.
So okay, so the eighth notes.
Yeah, go ahead and tap out your finger. Do a one finger tap to go into edit mode. I now select the eighth note and go into chord mode and build some chords on top of those.
Okay, cool. Let me try this out. So like you were saying before, I just tap that note and then I press and hold, and then I can then add another note to that and then press and hold again. And as you can see, I'm just adding notes. Whoop, went a little too far. I'll hit the undo button.
Yeah. So speaking about undo, we've got three ways to undo. You've got the keypad undo. You've got the undo at the top of the screen, which is blocked by multitasking right now, which is fine. You also do a 3-finger swipe left in order to undo that. So that's a cool built-in Apple gesture, and that will take that out too. Or you can do a 3-finger tap on the screen, and that will bring up the iOS shortcuts bar, and you can do an undo there. So 3-finger single tap.
Okay, cool. So if I just like say add a note here, and then I'm not happy with that, I can just do a 3-finger tap, and then across the top here I've got undo, and I can get rid of that there. So very, very easy and intuitive. And what was the other one? We just do a 3-finger swipe was another option.
3-finger swipe left to undo, right to redo. Yeah, those are the built-in iOS gestures. We're really happy to support them. I mean, copy and paste, undo, redo, those are staples of any software. And yet we didn't have the need to put them as sort of buttons on somewhere in the interface. It's built into the operating system. People who use their tablet for their regular workflows know these gestures. They expect them to be there, and they're super cool. I mean, you can cut, copy, and paste so fast in this new application.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good one to try out, because that's, I'm a lazy composer. I like to copy and paste all the time. So if I just did a selection here and then 3-finger tap there, I've got a copy and I can go there and 3-finger tap and paste. That's really fast, isn't it?
Yeah, you can actually do it faster, Drew. So go ahead and let's paste that again.
Okay, what we're going to do first is we've got to do the 3-finger swipe to get rid of that, which that's great. Love that. And cool. What's a faster way?
All right, so go ahead and select that bar again.
Okay, so I'll select that bar.
Just 1-finger tap. And what you want to do is a scrunch gesture. So 3 fingers and you squeeze towards a central point. So
okay,
scrunch.
So 3 fingers and stretch. Yeah.
Up.
I think
I don't know that we got to try that one more time. So
let's try that again. So, and 3-finger stretch. Scrunch. Okay. Yep.
And
Copy
it said
came up at the
copy at the
top
top.
there.
So,
Yep. Yep.
cool.
And then
And now
select
to
the next
paste
bar.
that, you can do a reverse scrunch. So 3 fingers and spread out and boom.
Okay. So
Cool.
select that bar and then 3 fingers and stretch out. Oh my days. That's
That's it.
fantastic.
Yeah, so that cut your workflow. So first you had to do a tap, another tap, and then sort of a selection, a tap, and another tap. And now you've done it in 2 gestures. So selection, scrunch, selection, reverse scrunch, and boom, you're done. So yeah, again, as the team was designing this app, we were totally counting the number of operations, the number of clicks it would take things. You know, if you've got to open a menu in order to access some feature, that's a click that counts against you. We just wanted it all to be in the score. We wanted it to be fast. But at the same time, let me just riff on something real quick.
Yeah.
Speed is not everything. I think a lot of the way people have used music notation software in the past, like speed is good if you're copying something in. You know, you had that score up, you were doing some sort of transcription from one place to another. Speed is good in that case. But if you're a composer, speed is not always good. If you're thinking in the software, sometimes you want to work slow. And so I think some of these new workflows we've introduced, like the Apple Pencil, even if that takes you a little bit longer to do, I think it promotes a deeper level of thinking that's going to change the way that people think about music notation software and is more of a composition tool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I
this,
didn't need to get too philosophical there, but I mean, it really is slow thinking is something that I've really has struck me in designing this application that maybe we should be doing more for the people who enjoy that deep, slow thinking while they're working.
yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's very cool. There's some fantastic gestures that have been built into this. As I've just learned a few today, which is just great. So hopefully people will enjoy some of those. Maybe we should have a look at some of the chat and just see what people are asking here. So what are people thinking so far? So one of the questions here is about well, obviously annotating with the pencil. There is no annotate at this stage, is there? But we're kind of working on using that. Obviously, we're in review mode.
So there are some technical challenges with annotation. I think there's a reason that you don't see it in a lot of the options that are available for the iPad. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not coming. The team has certainly overcome far greater challenges. But let me just highlight something that is in the current build because it will at least get people going, I think. So Drew, can you go ahead and make a selection somewhere in your score?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just do the old press outside of a bar and I can select that whole bar like that.
Yeah, the lasso selection, super cool. You know what's cool about the lasso selection is you can also do it to create a non-range selection. So like if you do that same lasso from the bottom up,
yep.
You find that you might be able to capture, so go like in the white space between the two staves there. So
yeah,
like between the bass and the treble.
Yeah.
No, I was like, you see like
between the bass and the treble. Yep.
Yeah. And you'll be able to, if you go slowly to just select some of those bottom notes, you'll see that it doesn't turn into a range selection right away. So you can just select like a multi-item selection.
Yeah, I can just select a couple of notes like that.
And the cool thing is from there, you could take your pencil and you could sort of drag them all at once. So
yeah, I can then just move them around.
Transposing type things, like it's a really slick way to move, giant swaths of music.
Yeah, you could probably move them to a different voice or something like that if that's what you were working on potentially.
Sorry, Drew, you threw me off on another tangent because it's so cool, all the things you can do in this application. But let's go to the command search now and search for comment.
For a comment?
Comment, that's it.
Yeah, we've got comment and comment style.
So let's take comment, not the text style. And what this does is it's going to open up a sticky note. Okay, so we lost your selection while you were doing that. Let's do that one more time.
There we go.
Popped up. Cool. So this is the extent of annotations that we have for right now. So if you're passing things, say, between a teacher and a student or vice versa, and you want to mark things up and say, or maybe you're just a composer and an orchestrator, and you want to say, this isn't quite what I thought, or we need to modify this. Here's A+, awesome. Yeah, right on. That's for you. So you can go ahead and add those comments, and those will translate back to desktop Sibelius perfectly. So if you've got a student who's only got the mobile version of the application, they can make comments. They can send it to somebody who's using desktop Sibelius, and those comments will appear in the score.
Yep, perfect. All right, that's a great one as well. What else have we got going on in the chat here?
Drew, there was a tough one. There's a tough one. I noticed it was coming up on social, and I want to go for it. And Sam Butler might jump in and tell me if I'm doing something terribly wrong here. But let's go for a. You can either delete everything that's in the score. Let's do that. Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's just kind of, triple tap all of that and just get rid of it like that.
Or a two-finger triple tap. Yeah, no, actually, this is good. What you did was better. What I was going to tell you would cause some problems. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So one of the things that's come up in the forums is how do I add a pickup bar into Sibelius, into this application? So in our desktop application, what you're going to do is you're going to use probably the score builder. So you go to the quick start, you select a template, it gives you the option to add a pickup beat. So for right now, I mean, we're going to address this workflow within the mobile app, but there's a workaround that you can use for right now that should work. So let's say that we wanted a one beat pickup into bar one. So we need something on bar four there. So I think if you're working with the pencil, it's pretty easy. You just go ahead and you put a quarter note on beat four. So why don't we do it with the pencil first?
Yep.
So you can do a hard press and then put that all the way over on beat four and let go.
Yep.
Cool.
There we go.
All right. So now we're on beat four, but what we have to do is we got to clean things up. So go ahead and let's delete the quarter rest and the half rest as well. So you can select them. Yeah.
Yeah. Just delete that and select that and delete that.
That's right. And let's also, so now I'm trying to think of, let's also have something matching in the bass clef as well. So select the whole rest down there and
yep. Well, let me just move that guy around.
Yeah, that's cool. I was actually gonna, yeah, that works. That's cool. We can do that too. So let's delete the half rest and the thing that's on beat three as well. So we'll delete those.
Okay, we're going to delete the half rest and we'll select that chord note and delete that as well. Oh, and delete.
Okay, and I think you have to delete it twice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now, what I want you to do is select that. Let's just select everything. So like a two-finger triple tap should be fine since we don't have anything else in the score. So
okay, triple tap.
Select all the music. Yep. Awesome. And now let's go to the command search and go to the command there for respacing.
Okay, so I'm just going to go up to the command search at the top there. And sorry, respacing is what I was going to add.
Oh, reset note spacing. So type reset.
Reset. Okay, I've got a couple of different ones here. Reset design, reset note spacing is the second option here. Tap that.
Cool. All right, and maybe one more time on that.
Didn't work. Okay.
No, it wasn't doing what I was thinking it was going to do. Sam, if you want to jump in and tell me what I'm doing wrong here. I know there's a way to jump in and make that.
Yeah, if you those hidden notes or hidden rest that you've got. So select the bar again, Drew, and then select the first bar, and then select. You'll be able to tap on those hidden rests and then delete those properly.
They're not totally deleted. Yeah. Thanks, Sam.
So they're hidden at the moment, so they still take up space. So now try resetting the note spacing.
Okay, reset note spacing there. There we go.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. There we go.
All right, I'll disappear again.
I just want to share with the world that nobody knows Sibelius better than Sam Butler, and it's so awesome to have his endless knowledge of the software, especially on this webinar. So Sam, thanks for saving us there. Cool. So Drew, I think we've done it now, right? We've added a pickup bar to Sibelius, at least a workaround for now. For if you need pickup bars somewhere in your measure, or somewhere in your score, here's what you can do for the time being.
Yeah, we have. That's great. Yeah, no, that was fairly simple too. So hopefully people on the chat will appreciate that one. How are we going on the chat here? I guess there's quite a lot of questions that have been answered by all the great staff. Maybe we should kind of get into the different tiers that are available for the app. So obviously we've mentioned that you can download this for free and you get Sibelius First. And what comes with Sibelius First?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to say what's there is to actually sign out of your account, Drew, and we can take a peek.
Yeah.
We've taken a different approach here from our desktop app. So when you open Sibelius First on a desktop computer, you don't see what you're not getting. So the interface looks very minimal and very clean. But at the same time, you don't know what you have access to and what you don't have access to. We've totally changed that up for the mobile version. So for example, you've got the keypad open. Why don't you go to the second palette in the keypad? So that's that, it's the rest button. Yeah. You can see now that you've got some icons that are at half opacity. And so those are indicating that those are tier restricted features. You can go ahead and click on one of them, Drew. And
Yeah, so if I actually tap that, yeah, it brings up that tier limitation option there, and then I can unlock new features or continue with it without upgrading. So
that's right. And this was what I was talking about earlier with discovering where the sign in is. Like the app will naturally just lead you to sign in if you need to. But, you know, for a lot of our users, we think that the free version is going to be totally sufficient. I mean, it certainly lets you try out all of our workflows, but there's a lot there in the Sibelius first. The big limitation is that you can use up to 4 staves. So if you're doing something that's greater than a string quartet, then you'll need one of the higher paid tiers.
Yeah, so, that's right. So
yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, the next tier obviously is Sibelius, which is the, adds about 16 staves. Is that correct? A lot like the desktop app. Yeah.
Correct. Exactly the same.
Yeah, and then now, the final one obviously is Sibelius Ultimate, and a good thing for people that are existing Sibelius or Sibelius Ultimate desktop users that have an active subscription or a support plan, they can just log into their account, and up comes the login window to log in their Avid credentials, and all of those features just automatically get added to the app. That simple, right?
That's right. Yep. One click, it will tell you you successfully signed in, and then it will run. And so Joe Pearson has done our design for the back end of the new login system. It's beautiful work that he's done, and we can't wait to try to bring some of his improvements to other products. So cheers to Joe for his really good work.
Yeah, excellent.
And so another place where you'll see tier limitations is if you try to add some things from the gallery. So up in the create menu, I think it might just be my screen, but it looks like your iPad's a little high in the frame. If you could drag it down just a touch.
Bring it down. Okay, how's that?
That looks good for me. I'm not sure what everyone else is seeing, but this is perfect. So if you go to something like the lines menu, so
lines menu here,
you can again see that some of these things are at sort of half opacity, and so if you need those things, it will ask you to sign in. But if you don't need those things, again, the app is fully functional, so you can try everything else.
Quite a bit there in I've just logged out, so I'm just using Sibelius first at the moment. There's still quite a lot of functionality there. Obviously if you just want to add, hairpins like crescendos and diminuendos or trills and slurs, there's a lot of stuff there. It's not that great. It's great that for a free user, they've got so much stuff there.
Yeah, and something that's really cool is, again, I think users can see what's not covered now, whereas before that was invisible, and they might sort of get lost thinking, how do I do X, Y, Z in Sibelius? And they just don't know because it's not there in the interface. Whereas our new approach is to sort of let everybody see the exact same thing, and use this sort of opacity in order to indicate whether you've got access to editing it or not.
Yeah, I know all these instruments here. I know there was one thing that we wanted to look at was obviously changing instruments or adding new instruments to a score, wasn't there?
You hop back to the Saint-Saëns score that we were looking at the beginning. There's another thing I wanted to do there too, but maybe we can change an instrument in that score. And then I want to show one other cool thing that I think is awesome about this application.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've obviously got my violin at the top here. So I'm just going to triple tap that violin, which is going to select the whole instrument there. And I can hit the plus button up the top here. And the very, very last little gallery button is our instrument. So I can go in here. I could even say search for, I know this is probably not the right instrument, but let's just do a guitar just for fun. We've got electric guitar, and we've got the option to add to new score or actually add change instrument. I can't
It's a tier restricted. So go ahead and tap it. And you'll see what happens.
Yep. Yeah.
And it lets you know that, hey, if you want to add an instrument change, you'll have to be on either Sibelius or Sibelius Ultimate.
Yes, so I'll have to add in my credentials to go into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show you something else though. I think we can demo this something else important here without you signing in. So something that might benefit all of our first and free users. So let's go ahead and select the third bar, just one of the instruments.
Yep, it's like this bar here.
Okay, and then can you go up to the create menu? And let's see
Yep,
what would be a good thing to demo this with. Maybe the first sub gallery there. So the notations pane, very, very first one.
Yes, right here.
Cool. Let's go ahead and change that to a bass clef for a second.
Yep,
So
so by tapping that one there.
I mean, I don't know how many violin players enjoy reading in bass clef, but the thing that I want to mention here is that you made a 1-bar selection and then you changed a clef, and that clef change applied to the entire score. This is different than Desktop Sibelius default. So Drew, can you undo that for a second?
Sure.
Undo that change. Now what I want you to do is select 2 bars. So maybe double tap your existing selection. So that selects the system here.
Yep, I've only selected these 2 bars and nothing else is selected.
Add that clef in one more time. So let's turn that back into a bass clef.
Yep, just go up to the top here, and we're just going to add that bass clef like so. And
now,
we can see now, yeah, the treble clef has been added back at the end of this bar here.
That's right. So the thing that I wanted to mention is that 1-bar selections are special in the mobile application. This is a shortcut so that, I mean, normally within Desktop Sibelius, if you make a range selection, it puts in a cancellation of your change at the end of the selection. So something like our clefs, if you put in a bass clef, it will go back to whatever the old clef was. But since, you know, we're not clicking and we're not doing the same sort of workflows to make selections in the mobile app, we wanted to come up with a fast way for people to put in a change from where they were to the end of the piece without having to select everything. And so that's what the 1-bar selection does for us. So I just wanted to demo exactly what you just showed.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That was a really, really easy way of, just doing a change to an instrument.
Cool. And here's another change that I think is really important, and it highlights what's so beautiful about this application. So what would you want, how would you go about changing the tempo of playback here? So say you were learning this piece and the set tempo that it's at that is just way too fast for you. So people, I think, look for some sort of control. They say, where's like the transport window where I can slide the tempo slider and make playback happen in a different place? And that's not what we've done here. So Drew, do you know how to change the tempo?
You tell me. This is going to be great. I'd love to, because there's so many songs that I want to learn on piano that are really, really fast. I'd love to know how to slow them down.
Cool. So again, the design here is the score is the user interface. So if you want to change the tempo, you do exactly what you would do when you were putting on a score. So all you need to do, Drew, is double tap the looks like a dotted quarter equals 80, or is it a quarter? Yeah, dotted quarter equals 80.
Double tap that one. Yeah.
You can go ahead and just sort of backspace and change that to something like 40.
Yep, 40. Great, awesome. And then just return.
Yeah, tap in the score.
And there we go.
And now hit playback, and you'll find that Sibelius just does whatever's on the score. I mean, the score is the boss.
That's simple. That's great. And then if I undo that just by hitting the undo button here at the top left, and we'll try that again. That's really, really simple, isn't it?
All it is. So, put it on the score. Sibelius knows what to do from there. And so if you need it slower, just change your tempo. It's exactly what you would do if you wanted the music to be played back differently by real musicians. So it's a really cool model. I think, the software becomes sort of like an invisible layer between you and your musical ideas. And the idea is just put it in the score, and Sibelius will take care of the playback from there.
That's so very cool. Well, this has been great, even for me, just to kind of learn a couple of more little tricks, for my, palette while I'm kind of learning to play music or I'm trying to compose. I'm wondering if there's anything else here on the chat that we've missed that people want to kind of know about. Lots of stuff's being asked.
Drew, we totally skipped tab input.
Doing guitar tabs, or
yeah, you want to do a quick guitar tab?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Should we add a new instrument to this score?
Well, we're maxed out for Sib. Can we get one? Yeah, let's try. I think we might get one. Let's do it.
Okay, let's go to that, and let's go to a bass tab.
Anything that's got a tab, Steve.
There we go. Unlock more features. All right, let me just quickly log in here.
Let's do a new score, Drew. You don't have to log in. Let's do a new one.
Okay,
I think it's
let's do a new score.
for the free users to understand, especially, I think guitarists make up a huge pool of Sibelius first users. I mean, guitarists rarely need more than 2 or 3 staves in a score. And so this is just perfect for them.
Yep, cool. I'll just start with a blank score, and then we'll just do from there, and we'll go into our instruments, and I can even just search for guitar. And we have here acoustic guitar, standard tuning, tab, add to new score. There we go.
Awesome. All right, cool. So this works. Let's do this with the keypad. I think it's slicker with the keypad rather than with the pencil. So
okay, I'll get rid of that.
Just with touch gestures, let's go ahead and touch the first bar.
Yep.
And then let's just go with quarter notes for right now. So go ahead and press and hold the quarter note. And that'll bring up a ghost tab note. And so here the mapping is you slide up and down to change the strings.
Okay, so up and down. Whoops, let me try that again. So up and down to change the string. Oops, not. Tap that and, oh yeah, I've got the ghost note.
It looks like you're stuck for some reason.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh,
Try it
here we
again.
go. Now I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sliding around. Yep.
Yeah. So up and down to change the string, and left and right in order to change the fret number.
Oh yeah, look at that go. Yep. And we go to the right, and I can add a different fret there.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
so go ahead
super simple.
Place that note. If you want to add a chord above that, it's exactly like you would do it in the with notation. You just hit the chord tool, press and hold.
Yep, and then go above that, and then yeah, I can.
Looks like we got something going on there. I'll take a look. I'll pass that one to the team. Nothing like a live demo.
That's right, and then I can
hit the chord, and hit the chord tool without coming out of note input mode. So go ahead and add one more note, and then we'll try the chord tool again.
Tap, so I'm going to tap that note, hit the chord tool. Yeah, it's just added the thing there. Yeah, it's
looks like you found something interesting there. Go ahead and add just add one more note. Go ahead and select that maybe eighth rest.
Yep.
And just add any note. Yep, let go. Maybe do it.
Cool.
Okay, and now hit the chord tool button. So press and hold the chord tool button, and you should be able to slide up or down or add a note above that.
There we go.
Cool. That's right.
Perfect.
Exactly right. Yeah. So anyways, tab support is in there. I wanted to mention that came up on the forums a number of times. Can I do guitar tabs on it? And it's absolute. I am a guitarist, and so there's no way I was going to let the guitar community hang there. I wanted to make sure that we had something for you guys too.
Very, very, very cool. Okay, so I'm just kind of looking at the chat. There's a few people that may have missed some of our demo. Should we go back and kind of just go through them? Obviously, with the way Zoom works, when one of us talks over each other, the screens go back and forth. So we might need to just kind of reiterate a couple of those cheeky gestures that we had brought in. So if we actually go back to that score there, and we can talk about some of the different gestures that we had going on. So obviously, when we were talking about copying and pasting, if we actually select that bar there. So for the people that didn't see this, because obviously what someone was talking, we were talking about the obviously. Cool. All right. So we had a little bit of a 3-finger scrunch function, and you can see copy came up at the top of the screen there. Now, if I tap this bar here and actually do a expand, let's do that there and expand, it then pastes that onto that screen over there. So that's a really, really fast way of copying, pasting, which was a really handy tool. For people that might not have seen that lasso function that we were talking about, if you actually just kind of outside of the white of a bar, if you press and hold, you get this lasso function, and you can just say, select a few notes opposed to the whole bar, because if you just tap the bar like that, it's going to select everything. You may not want to do that. You might just want to get just a few objects at the top of that bar by doing that. So
cool. Two more things to mention. One is to get so you did a copy and a paste, but you could do a cut and a paste as well. And you can do that by doing the 3-finger scrunch twice in a row. And it doesn't have to be like rapid fire, just scrunch, and it will cut that from your score.
Okay, cool. So if I just say select this bar here, and I'm going to go scrunch and scrunch like that, it's just removed it. And then I can go over to this bar here and just do an expand like that, and it would paste that in. If I actually just delete everything from that, let's just go into here and just remove everything there, select that bar and expand, and it drops it in. Hey, that's really fast. That's great.
Yeah. And one thing we didn't mention that's another sort of, it's a bit hidden until you read the documentation, is that you can move the keypad to the other side of the screen. And this is really important if you're a left-handed user. So you could,
Yes.
Drew, you want to go ahead and demo that workflow?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So yeah, I have it on the right-hand side, but you're right. If I noticed that if I close the keypad here, I obviously get that little quarter note in the bottom right. If I press and hold that, it actually then moves the keypad over to the left-hand side, and I can be working over here. And that might be great for people that can multitask and be using the pencil as well as using their left hand for the keypad, and you can just close it like that. And then that little quarter note will just stay, eighth note, sorry, quaver, I say in Australia, it's going to be in that bottom left there. So yeah, really fast way, depending on your workflow. So press and hold, and that moves that back over to the right-hand side, which is where I have it.
Yep, exactly. Awesome.
Cool. People are going full screen. Let's just, okay. I'm just checking through if we've kind of missed any chat stuff here. We've kind of got quite a few things coming in on the chat. Some stuff's been answered. I'm just seeing if I've missed anything. Setting up scores on desktop and then moving it over to the iPad. Obviously, yeah, there is that interoperability between obviously desktop and iPad app. We've obviously kind of gone through that. People can start on the iPad app and move over to the desktop, or vice versa. If you've got obviously one of the newer versions of Sibelius or Sibelius Ultimate, that's no problem at all. Yeah, I think we do recommend if you've got older versions of Sibelius, like 8, 7 or 8, that just save a copy of it before you bring it over to the iPad app, just the way the code's designed. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, exactly right. So the mobile app will open a Sibelius file, any Sibelius file, just like desktop Sibelius file will open it. The reason that we suggest that users make a copy of it is because once that file becomes saved in the mobile app, it saves in our newest file version, which they may not have access to open in their desktop version, depending on what desktop version of Sibelius they're using. So to be totally safe, just make a copy, and that way you'll know that you'll have one version that you can open on your desktop, and you can have another version that you can open on the mobile.
Fantastic. Great. Okay, I think I've seen from Dirk here that we've kind of answered all the questions that are on the chat. All the team have answered pretty much everything that we've left over. So thank you so much, Joe. I think we might maybe call it there. I really, really appreciate you being it's taking up your time. You probably deserve a massive holiday right now because of all the hard work you and the team have done. But thanks for your time.
Currently,
really
am on holiday
that.
right now, but yeah, I'm currently on my holiday right now. But I wouldn't miss this opportunity to chat with you, Drew, because it's always so much fun.
Yeah. Oh no, this has been a blast. Thank you so much. We should do this again.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for everyone that's joined the webinar. Please, download the app if you haven't downloaded it yet. Go to YouTube and have a look at some of those getting started videos. If there's any more information that you need to know about these apps, please go to avid.com/Sibelius-mobile, and that'll give you all the information you need to know about the app. And yeah, thank you everyone, and have a good. There will be an on-demand of this as well too. So I forgot to mention that. So yeah, you'll probably get an on-demand link, and you can watch this back and have a look at all of those really, really cool gestures that we did add to this. So thank you everyone for attending. Have a good morning or afternoon or evening where you are, and all the best. Thank you.